Hi there, my name's Caitlin. I'm a holistic nutrition consultant and the author of a blog called grassfedgirl.com. I'm so glad you're here with me today. My videos are all about my journey with Hashimoto's and using the carnivore diet for healing. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please stick around, like, share, subscribe. I really appreciate you leaving a comment. That helps me out, helps more people know about getting meat in their diet for healing. So I'm so excited. Today's topic is Q&A, carnivore Q&A, Hashimoto's, anything that people ask me. A lot of people ask me on Instagram, so make sure and follow me on Instagram. My handle is at grassfedgirl. So these are some of the questions that people asked on Instagram, and I'm going to be going over them. So these are common questions about carnivore or Hashimoto's or natural living, that kind of thing. So stay tuned all the way to the end, and we're going to have a great question that everybody asked me. So stay tuned all the way to the end. The first question is, have you heard about carnivore diet reversing osteoporosis? And this is from Kathleen Tisdale. I have heard a lot about anti-nutrients in relation to osteoporosis. So there's a lot of lectins and phytates in a lot of vegetable foods, plant foods, oxalates. All of these can block absorption of minerals, and that can cause bone loss and bone degradation over time for especially women. So I have heard people getting stronger, getting leaner, and feeling younger all on the carnivore diet. So absolutely, that's something you can measure with a DEXA scan. If you go get one at the beginning of your carnivore journey and then do one, maybe 6 months or a year later, and then compare those, that would be a great way. I have friends with this couple. They're called the Carltons, sorry. They wrote a book about osteoporosis. The wife was suffering with that tremendously, and she was only like 35 years old. And one of the things she did was cut out a lot of anti-nutrients, especially things like spinach that's high in oxalates, and she reversed her bone problems and her bone density problems. So that is a great resource. The Carltons, they have several books about nutrition, and a lot of their emphasis is on reversing osteoporosis. So that's a great resource for you if you're interested. Okay, the next one is from Ama Runner 13. She says, my thyroid numbers keep rising, but my doctor won't do anything about it. What can I do? Well, you have to remember that you are the patient and they are the doctor, and you're actually a customer. So just like in any other business, you would decide you don't want to go there. Like if you had bad service at a restaurant, you would leave. Your doctor's not, a political figure. They're not in charge of you. You're not beholden to them in any way. So I would definitely look for a different doctor. I've had a lot of luck with nurse practitioners. They seem more kind of receptive, more integrative. I haven't had good luck with endocrinologists. I've had Hashimoto's for over 10 years, so I've been to a lot of different doctors, and really when it comes down to it, you have to be your own doctor. You have to be your own advocate and learn everything you can. So waiting for your doctor to get their, get themselves together is never going to work. So you have to go ahead and fire that doctor, get a new one, and be the boss of your own health. So I would if you don't like them, ask around, ask in thyroid forums, Ask the Thyroid Madness has a great website that has a lookup for doctors on there. There is a lot of resources, so don't just take one doctor's answer. Just keep going, keep looking. Thanks so much for writing in. All right, the next one is from Itzel1822. Were you carnivore when you started breastfeeding? I was. I was carnivore pretty much my whole pregnancy. I did eat a little bit of fruit here and there. It was in the summertime and it was so hot, so I ended up eating fruit sometimes, but then I would often get like canker sores in my mouth. It really didn't go down that well. And then I was worried about my blood sugar being balanced. I was worried about gestational diabetes, so I really didn't want to overdo it with the fruit. And I stayed carnivore all the way through. You know, my meals were all meat-based or eggs or fish or chicken. Some parts of my pregnancy I could not handle beef, so I would eat chicken or fish or eggs. I ate a lot of scrambled eggs. Almost every single day I ate scrambled eggs, goat cheese. So that's what makes a healthy baby, if you ask me. My baby is super, super healthy, so I must have done something right because he's huge. He's 35 pounds and he's 22 months, 23 months. I don't know. He's about to have his birthday. He's about to be 2 in September 5th. So, but the thing is, I was already keto adapted. So I was burning ketones. I was running on fat. My blood sugar is very, very stable. And these are the things you need before you start breastfeeding. Because if you go from being a carb-based diet to a carnivore-based diet or a keto diet and you drop off, any big change like that is not going to be good for supply. So be really, really careful when you decide whatever diet you've been doing is what you want to keep doing, because, or if you transition, go very slowly, kind of like reduce maybe cut out white foods or something like that, because you don't want your supply to drop off. And a big thing with breastfeeding is electrolytes. So make sure you have a lot of electrolytes. You know, I love Redmond. You can use my code GrassFedGirl to save on your first order, or I think any order. So you need your electrolytes, you need your blood sugar stable, you need to be adapted as a fat burner, as a ketone person. So be aware of that. You can't just switch diets really fast because your supply of milk is going to drop off. So you don't want that. Because breastfeeding is the healthiest thing you can do for your baby. It's the most wonderful thing. And we should all get a lot more support than we do around it. Shelby Ams says, how did you know what to get organic and non-organic when it comes to baby gear? What are some of your must-have baby gear items, and what did you think you needed but you didn't? That's a lot of questions about that. I think for me, the focus was on the mattress. To me, the mattress being organic was a really big deal. And it turned out my stepmom actually had an organic mattress that she had bought when my sister had her baby, which was just a few years before me. So I was able to use that, and it was a Naturepedic, which is like $400. It used to be, I don't know how much it is now. Maybe it's gone up, but it's like $350, $400. So I was able to use that, and that's what he still has now. So I prioritized mattress because there's a lot of research about SIDS and being connected with toxins in the bedding or in the pajamas and things like that. Now with the clothes, I focused on my sister had 2 kids right before I did. So I have tons and tons and tons of hand-me-downs. So most of his clothes are hand-me-downs, and they were, well used, well washed and all that. So I used a lot of those. I didn't really worry about if they were organic or not. Now with diapers, I try to use, especially for the first year or so, I used 7th generation, and I still try to use, I also use some cloth diapers when we're home, but now it's summer, we don't stay home hardly at all. We go out and do stuff all the time. So I haven't used a lot of cloth diapers, but definitely I use some 7th generation, some Honest diapers. There's the great website called Mamavation, and she rates all of these items. So I go there and look at what rating she gives, and I usually try to go kind of with the mid-range, not the most expensive and not the most toxic. So I try to kind of go with the middle, and just try not to drive yourself crazy, because you can drive yourself crazy worrying about every little thing. The car seat, I didn't actually know that they made organic type car seats. I kind of wish I had done that. I didn't know, and I got just a regular car seat. I mean, it was bought for me, but I think it's called Nuna. They make more of an organic or less toxic car seat, but I didn't know that at the time. So it's overwhelming. It really is. I would watch a lot of videos. I have a video about packing for the hospital, so I have a lot of tips on that one, but I didn't make a baby gear video. The most important things, I think, are the stroller, of course. I have a Bob stroller. I love that so much. And I also have another one that can't remember, maybe Baby Jogger, or I don't know. I have another one that I keep in the car, and it's really nice. You know, Facebook Marketplace is your best friend for these kind of things. You can buy things gently used and save tons and tons of money. I got an OXO high chair, and I just love that thing so much. It is a plastic, tray, but I kind of wish, but they're pretty much all plastic. So unless you get some used, old-fashioned one, then I think they're all plastic. So if you find one that's not, that'd be cool, like a stainless steel one for babies. But I love that high chair is important because they use that so much. My baby sits in that every single day for like an hour at least. The stroller, the crib, but a lot of the other things were just like he used them for such a short time, and we do sleep in the bed together. I'm a big proponent of safe sleeping and co-sleeping. So definitely do that. Don't be afraid of it. There are ways to do it safely. And you want to get as much sleep as you can. And the only way to do that is if you sleep with your baby, in my opinion, and at breastfeeding. So I could make a whole rant about that. So I'll go on that another day. But yeah, hopefully that helps you out. And I have links in my Amazon shop down below to his registry. And you can see a lot of the things that I bought or that were given to me. I hardly didn't buy anything because I had a lot of generous people. And like I said, my sister had 2 boys just a few years before I did. So I got almost everything in hand-me-downs. Thanks for asking that, Shelby. Okay, the next question is from Michelle Dawn Thompson. Does stevia in the raw raise your blood glucose? I was using it and I was raising mine, and I realized it has maltodextrin, and now I can only use the stevia extract. Yes, of course. I mean, be careful. Always, stevia is always added. Something is added to it. A lot of times it's just a filler. It makes it cheaper, or maybe it's a texture thing. Especially in the packets, they have to add something. Truvia has something added. So always read your labels. Anything that sounds like malt or oats is going to be some kind of a sugar. And if you're really sensitive, you might react to that, or it might add up a lot of carbs to your diet that you're not really budgeting for. So always be careful with your stevia. Something's added to it, maybe corn, or usually it's corn, and they will mix it with sometimes erythritol. Stevia is very, very sweet and bitter, so sometimes the erythritol will kind of mellow it out. And so, yeah, be careful what you're using. I like a stevia extract or even the liquid like stevia glycerite. I have those down in my Amazon shop, and those might have less of a blood sugar impact. I've done experiments where I had a CGM and I used stevia and nothing happened. My blood sugar was so stable and low, and almost weirdly low, if you ask me, but they said it was normal, so whatever. And because I had a consultant like from the company. So yeah, just be aware of that. And you can also use a blood meter thing on your finger and check your blood sugar after meals. So, and I did an interview with the CGM company. You can watch that video. It was maybe like a month ago, and it was really good to learn about your blood sugar. So check that one out with NutriSense. It was really good. One question I get almost every single day when I'm doing the carnivore diet and I'm online is how much do you eat per day? And the answer is about 2 pounds of meat. So usually I eat about a pound in the morning and about a pound at night. Sometimes I'll eat a little more. I'm usually hungrier in the morning, about 10 or so, like a brunch, and then I'll eat usually a dinner about 6 or 5 or something like that. And sometimes I have snacks and sometimes I don't, and sometimes I eat eggs, and then that will cut a little bit into, maybe I'll eat a little less meat because I had a lot of eggs. I've been kind of doing egg elimination lately, and that's kind of helped. I think I have a little bit of an egg white sensitivity, so I haven't been eating a lot of eggs lately, but mostly I still eat beef most every day. Breakfast about 10 o'clock, about a pound of fatty meat, and then usually about a pound later. And like I said, I'm not as hungry at night, so I may eat a little less, like 8 ounces or 12 ounces, or sometimes I just eat like some prepared sausages or something like that rather than ground beef at night. But I love having a steak, about 10, and a big steak, maybe sometimes even a little more than a pound. And then, like I said, I'm less hungry in the evening and I'll eat a little less meat, or maybe I'll eat some lighter meat like chicken or fish or something like that if I'm not as hungry. But I love that bigger meal in the morning. And I think women do better kind of on 2 meals, and maybe men could get away with doing 1 meal, but I'm not a big fan of fasting. That's another question I get all the time. I have another video about fasting, especially if you've been stressed and you have a lot of health issues. Fasting is another stressor, so be careful about that. You don't want to have a lot of stress coming from your diet, as well as, life stresses like bills and money and jobs and all that stuff. So definitely, it's usually about 2 pounds of meat, fatty meat. Don't eat too much lean meat or you won't feel well. You'll start feeling sick. And if you have a lack of vitamin A and fat-soluble vitamins A, D, K, you will start to feel very unwell. And a lot of people have autoimmune kind of problems set in from that. So be careful with that. And, don't fast when you have a lot of stress. And also, exercise is a stressor. So don't exercise too much while you're adapting. It takes about 2 weeks to adapt to the carnivore diet. So you don't want to be doing a lot of crazy new workouts and stuff. If you've been doing a lot of exercise, you can keep doing it. But if you're not used to exercising, don't try to throw that in while your body is adapting to the carnivore diet. Does that make sense? Okay, well, please let me know your answers. If you agree with my answers, or if you want to have more of this type of thing, or what else that I didn't answer, make sure and leave a comment down below. I really appreciate you watching. Please share, subscribe, leave a comment. Thanks so much. I really appreciate you. Hope you're doing great with your carnivore diet. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. One more thing, make sure to get my Carnivore Diet ebook. It is 182 pages, all about how to do carnivore, has meal plans, shopping lists, FAQs, and everything you need to do the carnivore diet. All the questions you might be asking or thinking are in there. It took me about a year to write it, so I put everything I could think of all about the carnivore diet in there, and it's wonderful because you can download it right away and have it on your iPad and get started and go shopping and hit the ground running. So please get that. It's www.carnivore30.info. Okay, bye-bye.